Here we go. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. I'm at Rio Sports, but he's at Teddy_Covers. The early game, Pacers and the Cavs. Cavs are 8, 211.5 the total. Not only did the Pacers win game one, they never trailed, and they led by 20 by the time LeBron made his first shot. This is big. The supporting cast with Cleveland, Teddy. Korver and Calderon did not score. Hood, Hill, Love, and Green combined for 25 points. Hill also left the game in the third quarter. The game one loss as well. Oladipo dominated. We'll see. It comes down to the supporting cast bounce back for Cleveland tonight.
And that's the biggest issue, obviously. We're talking about LeBron James. We're talking about the best player in the NBA. So Cleveland has the best player on the floor at all times. They're supposedly bouncing back off a game one loss. But boy, betting markets aren't offering a whole lot of bargains on the Cleveland side of the equation here, especially when we consider what this Cavs roster actually looks like. Yeah, you got LeBron. When you look at the rest of the pieces, who do you see on Cleveland like, yeah, that guy would start on any team. That guy would start on any team. No, it's LeBron as the one guy. And, you know, we talked about Cleveland in his first, when he got drafted and then went through those series with the Cavs and got the Cavs to respectively before he made a decision to go to South Beach in Miami. And we're talking about LeBron and the Seven Dwarves and LeBron and, the nobody there. That might be the case for Cleveland right now. The more you watch the Cavs, the less impressed with Cleveland you actually are. Kevin Love is an impact player, is a superstar? No, not at this stage of his career. So when you start talking about laying 8 in a game like this with a Cleveland team that, their back's against the wall, and when they're hitting three-pointers, they can start to rain three-pointers on opposing teams. That's the Cavs' strength. But they didn't hit a whole lot in the first game. And if the supporting cast plays today like they did on Sunday, they'll get beat straight up again, Pauly. They really will.
Yeah, you're right. There's not a lot to like with the supporting cast. And what happens if they don't shoot the ball well? Because they're the second worst defense in the league. That's also cause for concern. So while people were taking a victory lap at the trade deadline when they made all these moves, they played well against Toronto in a couple games, but off to a rough start in this series. And this is big because if Toronto can take out Washington early in 4 or 5, and this thing could go 6 or 7, that's a big deal. It's in Toronto has home court, and Cleveland's got to go through them as well. LeBron did have the triple-double. Lou called them out, said be more aggressive from the get-go as well. The Pacers did a great – they were on national television one time the whole year, and they flew over their win total. Nobody talked about them. Nobody saw them. We forgot about them when they traded Paul George. But Oladipo was great. McMillan did a great coaching job. Their win total, I think, was 31, flew over, and they played great defense, even though they were tied for 12th in defensive efficiency. So and they shouldn't have the mentality and the mindset of mission accomplished. We got the split. They can come out there, and they should be confident. They kicked their ass. Cleveland only made one run in that game when they cut it down to 7, and then bam, right back up to double digits, and they win by 18.
Sure, and when you talk about this Pacers team, you made a great point. The public doesn't know Indiana. Even the betting public isn't really enamored with this squad. It's the Cavs and whoever they're going to beat in this series. And obviously, as we saw in game one, Indiana's like, you better take us seriously. Oladipo hitting three-pointers in that contest. But it's not just Oladipo. We talk about Miles Turner as a guy who kind of slumped down the stretch. He looked a little bit gassed. Boy, he had an impressive game one. And the supporting cast for the squad, and most particularly Sabonis and Stevenson. Lance Stevenson, after all these years, he still comes in off the bench, and he is an instant impact every time he's in the game. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But Lance Stevenson's energy is something that the Pacers have absolutely fed off of this season. I think it comes tonight. I'll tell you what, I want no part of Cleveland laying the price here. If I'm playing this game, I could only take Indiana plus the points. Maybe you take a look at the over after the Cavs shot 8 of 34 from three-point range in game number 1 of this series. Like the show? Help us keep the lights on. Please make sure to comment, share, and subscribe to all the Sportsbook Review videos. Thanks so much. Best of luck. Enjoy the game.